being your authentic self is the scariest fucking thing in the world. Not everyone is aware, because there are, in fact, quite few people in this world who truly are their deep and authentic selves. Most people live in separation from who they really are. They have judgments, they have different types of addictions, they're chasing success, they're chasing a relationship, they're chasing this next thing. I want this to work out. Whatever it is that we are always occupied with doing is in many cases just because we're so afraid to be who we really are. Sometimes it's really uncomfortable to be who you are. It can be so fucking uncomfortable. But you might not even be aware of the fact that it is uncomfortable, because the way in which the body works and the mind works is that as we keep trying to be something that we are not, as we keep trying to run away from the deeper side of ourselves, we disconnect ourselves from seeing this world and seeing ourselves and understanding ourselves as we truly are. When we keep casting judgments on other people, when we keep casting judgments on ourselves, when we keep always being caught up in thinking about if this is the right thing to do, if it's not the right thing to do, if we keep maintaining different types of addictions, or are always on the chase for the light to become an improved version of ourselves, or whatever it is that you're doing, it all just stems from a fear of being who we truly are. I am personally terrified of being who I truly am. But I keep pushing myself to do it as soon as I recognize that I'm starting to stray away from what it is that is truly me. A lot of the times I'll get really attached to working something out, and I think that I need to or should be doing more of this in my life. I should be more on top of my game when it comes to my business, or maybe for you are more attached to your job situation or whatever it is, to our relationship, and you try to figure it out and you try to work on it, and it's a sort of compulsive energy around it. And that is the cause for all the suffering that we're going through. Trying to be something or trying to do something that is not truly in our best interest, but only ever serves as more distractions, keeping us separated from the truth of this world. The fact that we're all just one, and we're all here together. And we're all afraid of the same things. We're all afraid of connecting deeper to who we really are. That's why we adopt a personality or an attitude of, let's say, people pleasing, or as I said, blaming other people, judging other people. We all develop it because beneath that, under the surface, lies something very uncomfortable that we never want to be in the presence of. But the truth is that what is existing beyond the surface, or under the surface, which is your emotional world, and this body that is the full operating vehicle of who you are right now, is not truly who you are in that deep essence. But as long as you keep attaching yourself to this very limited perspective of who you are, that you are your name and that you are this body and that everything has to be under control to survive, then As long as you're attached to all the processes that comes with that, all of those negative patterns that we have of inducing ourselves into more separation, the further away you are coming from the truth of all of this that we're experiencing here. The truth is that you're much deeper than this body. You're much deeper than just these thoughts, these reactions and attitudes that you're having, and these problems that you have. You're much deeper than all of it. You're the awareness that sees it all, that observes it all. You are the building block of this universe. You are the conscious awareness that exists in all things, and that we are all coming from. Not everybody is going to understand that. Not everybody is meant to understand that because they are so far away from the truth. Because they are never in a space of allowing themselves to connect deeper to the reality of who they really are. Because we're always engaged in our programs, so that we stay away from being in the full power of who we are. Because it can be uncomfortable. It can be uncomfortable to feel shame, to feel anger, fear, and guilt. It's uncomfortable to be your true and authentic self in many cases, because we connect that with the fear of not being accepted, not being loved. And because of that, we try to be, once again, who we think that we should be, only so that we are never met with that uncomfortable energy of who we truly are. Because a negative pattern of trying to be something that is not truly who we are, that never leads us to our fulfillment. It only ever serves as a distraction, taking us away from this realization that can become apparent when we're slowing down and allowing things to be, when we're not attaching ourselves to every little circumstance and situation. Attachment to all of our problems, all of our personality traits, such as our thoughts and our reactions, attitudes and behaviors and so on, all stems from trying to detach from something uncomfortable, trying to detach from our emotional world, trying to detach from everything that is going on. And as long as we're trapped in this fucking matrix of how we are always doing things, how we're always trying to not be who we truly are, that's when we're always going to experience this separation within us from the truth of everything. Not just the truth of who you authentically are as a person, having this temporary experience here, but also the depth of this reality that we're in, that we're all the same, and that you are not only some temporary human living here during your lifetime, but that you're here to see what it's all about. Who are you really? You're here to discover that. You're here to discover who you are, by allowing yourself to be who you are and be observant of that and see what that is like. But when we continually stop ourselves from doing that by being attached to these programs that we have developed from a younger age, because we didn't dare to be who we truly are, we didn't dare to go forward because for a long time of our lives it was scary. It didn't perhaps fit into the family dynamic. It didn't perhaps fit into the society that you were in. It didn't fit into the situation that you were in. And so because of that, we bury that part of us And the only way to bury it and become unaware of it is to start this other goose chase, where you're chasing something that has nothing to do with your higher fulfillment or your true and authentic self. All that we seek is to be our true and authentic selves. But it's scary. It is fucking scary. It is so fucking scary. Because that means that we need to go against all of this programming, all of these beliefs that we have, that we're not good enough when we do it. But it's okay to be scared. It's okay to be terrified. That doesn't mean that you're in the wrong place. Quite the opposite. That you're in the right place for a breakthrough to occur. For you to connect back to who you really are. This life sucks when we're not being our authentic selves. It brings on challenges, problems, loops of circumstances playing themselves out in the same way. Because the universe is also at the same time trying to show us the way to our authentic self at all times by showing you that this is not working. Don't keep trying to do this because you're just going to be hurt. You're going to suffer. Because you keep trying to do the same thing over and over. You keep trying to make this thing work. You keep obsessing over this thing. You keep being attached to this thing. Only because that attachment serves as a detachment from this full-fledged energy of who we are. The emotional state. Our vibration. We don't want to be in connection with that because there's uncomfortable energy in there. That's how we condition most of who we are, the negative parts that cause our suffering, that causes us to live a life that is far below that of that which we could be living. All because we are afraid to be our authentic selves. Being your authentic self is the solution to everything. Because your authentic self is the opposite of the attachment to doing things in a certain way, which leads to suffering, which leads us to live a life where we continually seek more. A human naturally doesn't seek more. We don't naturally seek the light because we are the light. And so when you realize that you are the light, you're just there to shine. You don't seek for anything anymore. You're just there to be who you are because you have discovered that the light that you saw in all other things, maybe in this relationship or whatever it was only ever a way for you to escape from the fact that you are the light that you always sought. Except that sometimes it's a bit uncomfortable to be fully embedded into this emotional world that exists within us. We are always living our lives through our emotions, through our energy and vibration. They're all different terms for the same thing. So the choice is yours. Are you going to continue to live your life through your programs of avoiding being your authentic self because you're afraid? Or are you going to start the process of learning to be in that uncomfortable space, being afraid, and doing it anyways? There's nothing wrong with being afraid. I know it's uncomfortable. But it also holds the key to everything that we're searching for. Everything that we're searching for comes to us when we allow ourselves to be our authentic selves. Your authentic self knows the way forward. Knows what you're good at, knows what you love doing, knows how to share it, knows how to do all of those things that perhaps we're confused about right now. How we're gonna make it work, how we're gonna figure it out. We don't have to think about that. We have to drop those thoughts, lean back into this emotional world, and allow ourselves to go through everything that happens and get into contact again with everything that we are. And then everything is going to solve itself. And we need to trust that once we start doing that, everything is going to work itself out. And I know that's hard. It's terribly hard. Because I keep running back to my programs too. I keep running back to overthinking things. Because it is hard. But it's worth it. And I'm gonna keep trying my best as soon as I spot myself falling back into old programs. To realize that all that I have to do in this moment is to allow myself to be. And then all that I am seeking is going to come up to the surface, these uncomfortable energies, because I'm not distracting myself from it. And I'm just gonna be with it. And realize that these emotions are not me. These problems that I have, that I keep thinking about, the overthinking patterns, it's not me. I'm simply aware of these things. And I allow them to exist there without attaching myself to a program as to not be consciously present. Because that is the power that I have, as the conscious awareness that I am. Observe it all, watch it all, learn to be with it, and don't attach yourself to it. And you're going to see that there's a lot of realizations to be had in that space about the truth of who you are and about everything that you're supposed to be doing here in life. It's hard to talk about these things because me myself, I am trying to be this person most of the time that got my shit together. So to be vulnerable and to share that it's hard. It's hard for me to make these videos a lot of the times. Because making these videos for me has always been such a healing journey, because every time I try to express myself a little bit more and then I get triggered and then I feel terrible, like, oh my god, was I, well, am I supposed to be saying this or sharing this? What are people going to think? But that's the fear, right? I have a 30-minute subconscious success course that talks a lot about how to calm down and how to get into a space of self-realization and allowing ourselves to truly be our authentic selves. So I'm gonna leave a link in the description, and also if you have any questions about this, feel free to comment it in the comment section below and I will do my best to get back to you.